What's up everybody, Nycove the Fox here, and welcome back to the Closet Cosplay Challenge, where today we will be stepping outside of the FNAF universe for the first time in quite a while on this channel. Today, we are going to be stepping instead into the universe of Bendy and the Ink Machine. As of recording this, Bendy and the Dark Revival, which is game number 2, just recently came out, and I've been seeing some gameplays appear across different channels. But also, as of recording this, I have not watched a playthrough yet of the new game, so I have no idea what happens. But today we are just going to be focusing on game number 1's design, because that is all I have really seen. But today we are going to be doing this guy. Good old Bendy himself. So this is kind of just like the simplistic cardboard cutout version of him. I know that there is a character that isn't like actually Bendy, but is like a Bendy poser of some kind in the first game. His name is like Jimmy? Help me out. What's the guy's name that wears the suspenders and the black pants and is all like kind of inky and he's got like the cardboard mask, but you find out that he's not like actually the ink demon or something? I don't remember. The lore is all very blurry because it has been so many years since I have stepped back into this fandom, so forgive me if I am speaking out of my ass. But something along those lines. There's a character that kind of dresses up as him, so that's kind of what we're going for, but the reason I have this pulled up is so that I have a reference for his face. Because, unlike the previous looks I've done, I'm not going to be painting on my face today. I am actually going to be painting on this here handy dandy piece of cardboard, and I'm going to hold it up like a cardboard mask. So that's why I was mentioning that other character who kind of dresses up as Bendy, because that's kind of more the vibe we're going for. I'm not so much like painting the look on my face as I usually do. This episode is going to go a little differently because you won't be staring at me while I put makeup on my face. You'll actually be staring at my table while I paint the face onto a piece of cardboard. So that aspect will be slightly different, but then you'll still get to see the full look at the very end. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, and you guys will get to watch the process of me painting this lovely Bendy mask. It'll either turn out really cursed or halfway decent. Also, if you're wondering where I got this handy dandy piece of cardboard from, I just cut the front or side off of a Cheeto white cheddar puff box. So I'm not sponsored, by the way. This is not sponsored by the Frito-Lay Cheeto company. Unfortunate, unless. But anyways, now we are going to begin with mapping out this drawing and filling it in with paint. Alright, so before I get to the sped up montage, I just wanted to go through my process here, my process of thinking. I realized that his head is kind of a perfect circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my circular mouse pad as kind of a circle reference. The circle's probably going to end up being a little larger than this, but I'm just kind of using this as like a guideline. So I did forget to mention, my door is open. I'm in a slightly different spot than I was in the last time I recorded these, so I am right next to my exterior door, which is open for the light and the fresh air, because it's nice outside. But because of that, whenever I'm talking, you may hear the lovely natural sounds of outside life. All right, here we go. Alright, so I have the pencil mapped out, and now what I'm going to do is cut out the shape, and then I will fill in the entire thing, probably with a base of white, and then I will fill in all of the black stuff on top. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cut the shape out, and then we will start painting. So this is the paint I'm using. It's just a really cheap, basic, you know, like $2 white acrylic paint that I've had in my closet. Fun fact, this is actually the paint that I used to make my very first Vanny mask. And if you have not seen that, especially if you're new around here and you just happen to click on this video, I have also made a Vanny mask. And by that I mean the one from the FNAF VR Dreadbear DLC. When it very first came out, immediately I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make this mask. I've never made a mask in my life, but I gotta try. And so I did. It probably wasn't the best choice of materials because I did end up using some plastic. But if you want to check that out and you are interested in watching the very fun and exhausting process of me making that, I did do a 2-part tutorial, which you can find right now, popping up in this corner. But without further ado, less about Vanny, more about Bendy. I'm going to put this white paint on as a base. I'm just gonna go ahead and squirt it on here and spread it around. I know some of my pencil lines may disappear, but I figured that was gonna happen anyway. I'll just go ahead and, you know, redraw with the Sharpie. I just wanted to map this out to make sure it was gonna be a decent size. So let's go ahead and paint. Also, as I'm painting him white, I do realize that he is technically like a kind of a sepia tone color of yellow and black, but most of my outfit is black and white, which is, you know, generally the same thing. But I know that Bendy and the Ink Machine has a more warm palette to it. Also, I used way too much paint probably for this, but that's okay. But I'm going ahead and using white and black just because it works better with my aesthetic that I'm going for, which is a true black and white, not really a sepia tone situation. I did have kind of a cream color of white that might have been softer that I could have used, but I didn't, and now we're doing this. So trust the process, as I say. All right, the white base is done. I definitely did just pour on probably too much paint. Also, something else you may notice is that because this is thinner cardboard, it is starting to bow from the moisture. That's normal. It happens when you use thinner cardboard. So what I'm going to do is I am probably going to, maybe I'll go steal my blow dryer to speed up this process of drying. And then I'll just try and gently press it flat as I'm drying it and see if it will keep it maybe from bowing so much, because I kind of had a feeling this would happen. So we're going to try and do damage control. So I will be right back with my blow dryer, and then you will get to see a lovely sped up montage of me blow drying this, and then we will add the black details on top. Alright, so blow drying it did help it kind of flatten back down. However, now that it is completely dry, you might have seen me trying to do some damage repair with my fingers during that process. But now that it is completely dry, I can see that some of it has soaked into the cardboard, so we're seeing some streaking. So now I am going to go ahead and do another thinner layer of white just to kind of, I don't know, make it look a little smoother. Thank you, Timmy. Also, I did notice that there were a couple, if not a few, comments in one of my previous videos where I kept mentioning Timmy, that they did not know what Timmy was. Don't worry, he is not a human child. He is a rabbit. He is a solid white lion head. I will pop up some adorable pictures of him right now so that you can see. But yes, that is the Timmy in question, for those of you who were wondering who I was talking back to in some of my videos. So I hope your questions have been answered. Alright, our white base is finally done and dry. It's done this time. So now I am going to re-sketch out the layout, just because I'm not super confident with my freehanding skills, and I don't want to mess it up and have to repaint it again. So I'm going to start with pencil, do the same thing I did earlier, map out his face, and then I'm just going to go ahead and use this Sharpie to do the black stuff. It's going to be stinkier, but it'll dry faster, so that's the goal. We're saving time. Alright, we got half of him done. It kind of looks cool when it's a half and half look. That was actually really satisfying too. So it's actually not as tedious. I've done far more tedious. I have outlined every single stitch on my Vanny suit in a Sharpie. That wasn't like this because this is too thick, so it was even smaller. And I had to do that for probably 6 hours straight. And boy, when I tell you, my fingers were tired, my neck was tired, my shoulders were tired, my back was tired from hunching over. But it was worth it in the end. But this is far more satisfying and far easier. So this I am fine with doing right now. Also, in case any of you were wondering, in my last Closet Cosplay challenge, which it originated with the name Closet Cosplay Quarantine Challenge because I had decided to start that series because we were all in lockdown. However, back then, I actually had planned to do a Bendy cosplay, and I never got to it. The series kind of dropped off. I started doing other things, but I'm kind of glad that I get to do him now because I never got to do him back then. And he seems like he'd be pretty fun, and rightfully so. This is actually very satisfying. And also, in case any of you were wondering about this too, I have done a Bendy and the Ink Machine themed cosplay in the past. It wasn't Bendy, but it was Alice Angel from Chapter 3. But yeah, she was super fun to cosplay. I've been wanting to go back and kind of revamp her and maybe do my own like more stylized version of her, like give her some really cool big wings, give her, you know, just some fancy stuff to kind of upgrade that cosplay because it is kind of simple. Alright, here is the reveal, everyone. Ta-da! Here he is, Bendy in the cardboard, instead of in the flesh, because he's on cardboard. I know, it was terrible. I thought it would be funny, and then I said it out loud, and then it was no longer funny. But anyway, here he is. I think he turned out fairly decently, considering I used the flimsiest cardboard on the planet, and some really cheap paint, and a lot of Sharpies, which, by the way, I'm feeling a little lightheaded from all the fumes, so I would not... Here's a PSA, okay? If you ever plan on working with anything that has a potent scent, whether it be Sharpies or spray paint, don't be like me. Do the right thing and like put some sort of like respiratory device protection on your face. That made no sense. Wear a mask or a gas mask, some sort of filtration system, maybe even safety goggles if you're working with spray paint so you don't get it in your eyes. Don't be like me and just jump in head first, no protective gear, and just inhale deeply. If you want to hold on to the last brain cell that you have left, don't be like me. But yes, he is complete, and now that means that there is only one thing left to do in this episode, which is transform into the final look. Bendy and I will see you after the transformation. here it is, the finished look. Not too bad, I would say. I think it turned out pretty well. I think this is one of the comfiest cosplays I've ever thrown together in quite some time. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this Closet Cosplay Challenge episode. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like. Maybe comment what your favorite Bendy and the Ink Machine character is. I would love to know. And if you did follow along with this, not that it's a tutorial, but if you did and you made your very own little Bendy, or did your own entirely different spin on Bendy and you did a closet cosplay yourself, feel free to post them on your Instagram if you have one and are comfortable doing so, and tag me in them because I love to see your guys' interpretations of these characters as well. That's one of the most fun parts about this. Until next time, my little inky friends, always remember, stay bright because you're a star, and stay out of the ink. See you all next time. Bye! I'm not entirely sure what bits I can do with Bendy. He's kind of just silent and he just appears. He's just a cheap jump scare. I mean, maybe he's more than that in the new game. I haven't watched it yet. Maybe he has some gigantic purpose. But this version of Bendy anyways, with the little cardboard, he ain't that special. Sorry, little guy. Although the Ink Demon and Sam, or whatever the imposter guy's name is, those guys are pretty interesting. Every time I do this, I just see Cheetos in my face. The subliminal messaging here is just making me hungry for Cheetos every time I do this. Anyways, like I said, stay out of the ink and I will see you all in the next video.